Chapter 7 of the book, The Navigator Across the Ice Walls. In the last episode, we discovered about the Anakim giants, but they're not to be confused with the Anunnaki. They are a different race. The Anakim giants in these books are the guys that saved that fraction of humanity that then afterwards became the Ancestral Republic. They saved the humans. Last episode, we left off that there had just been this massive explosion at the Ancestral Republic. William Morris had lost sight of all of his team members. He finds Butler that was speaking with the president, and the president is on the phone talking about...
If you are enjoying the Reset Show series, and you are finding yourself being enlightened, please give the video content a like and share.
Mr. Butler also admits that he was from the Ancestral Republic, and I think that he was doing espionage in the known lands.
Because originally, he said he is from there, that these are his brothers and sisters that were attacked. Now remember the drone eyeballs, those round spheres that were flying around? Morris says that he looks up at the sky, and there are these huge formations with thousands and thousands of blue birds. At this point, they need to evacuate, and everyone is running. They're running on ships, they're running on boats. The entire Ancestral Republic is being evacuated. And this is when Butler says to Morris, do you want to stop looking at the sky? Relax. The Iron Birds are our friends. They are defeating the enemy. In fact, these Iron Birds were attacking the spheres and sending them away. So the spheres were part of the bad guys. So Captain Butler, Morris, and the team arrive at their supposed destination. There were many agents waiting for Butler, and they all seemed to be very relieved that he was okay. They reproached them for their delay. Then they waited for a few minutes, and this is when they were taken.
Because everything was magnificent and so beautiful, but at the same time, it was between fire, death, and desolation. You.
That's the glue. And trust me, it sticks. Every morning I wake up and think, damn. I've got everything that matters. Life's so sweet in bedrock. Is this life picture perfect? Not even close. Fred can be a loud pain in the ass. But hey, I love him. He's my guy.
And Pebbles, oh my Pebbles, our little bundle of joy. I don't think I could even breathe without her. Betty's my best friend. The sweetest thing you'll ever meet. All innocent smiles. But don't let that fool you. She's tough when she needs to be. Her husband, Barney, is like the brother I never had. Betty and Barney's boy, Bam Bam, got more strength in his tiny arms than most grown men. See, it's not about blood. It's about the dirt, the years you've walked side by side, all the stuff you've been through. That's the glue. And trust me, it sticks.
Have you ever stopped to think that the Jetsons don't live in the sky because it's the future? They live there because they can't go down. The surface is still infected, and the Flintstones are the evidence of what happened to those who stayed. Look at the proof. In 396 episodes, the Jetsons never show what exists below the clouds. Never. The vehicles fly, the buildings float, but no one touches the ground. Actually, in 1987, there was an official crossover. Jetsons and Flintstones crossed paths. Same timeline, not future and past, the same present. The Jetsons went down once and discovered what remained of humanity. Notice the technology. Jetsons have television. Flintstones have stone television. Jetsons have telephone. Flintstones have bone telephone. They're the same creations, one in its original form, the other rebuilt with what was left. Actually, the Jetsons know what happened. That's why Rosie does all the outside work. That's why the children never play outdoors. That's why George panics when something falls. They fear what's below. The most disturbing evidence, the names in bedrock, Flintstone, fire-starting rock, rubble, debris, names of devastation. The Flintstones don't know where they came from. The Jetsons know, and never revealed it. Actually, the 1987 crossover was buried because it exposed the truth. The rich departed for the sky. The poor remained below. George knows. Jane knows. Elroy and Judy will never find out because parents don't reveal to their children that they abandoned the rest of humanity to perish. The Flintstones aren't the past. They're what the Jetsons abandoned behind. Actually, the Flintstones aren't prehistoric. They're survivors of a nuclear war, and the Jetsons live in the sky because the surface is still contaminated. Look at the evidence. Fire-starting rock, rubble, debris, slate, demolition material. Their entire identity is defined by what remained after the destruction. Actually, the Flintstones have technology that shouldn't exist in prehistoric times. Telephone, television, camera, newspaper, bowling, cinema. These aren't primitive inventions. They're fragmented memories of a civilization they destroyed. The most disturbing evidence. Fred works at Slate Rock rock and gravel company, rock mining. But slate also means post-explosion construction material. Fred doesn't mine rocks. He mines the radioactive remains of the old world. Actually, the 1987 crossover was buried, almost never re-aired. The implication was too clear. The rich went to the sky, the poor stayed below. Fred doesn't remember the old world. Wilma doesn't remember. Barney doesn't remember. Radiation erased everything. Only the instinct to rebuild what they lost remained. The Jetsons aren't the future. The Flintstones are.
High school was like the Civil War. It lasted 4 years. You were defined by what you wore, and I lost 1 in 10 of my friends to gangrene.
Make way for the new time. Can't wait on the sideline. Making promises you don't understand.
That last part isn't true, but a girl can dream, can't she?
What if I told you that every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent? See, school doesn't measure intelligence. It manufactures obedience. It trims your mind until it fits inside a system designed to reward memorization, not imagination. They call it education, but what it really is programming.
We've all gone our separate ways since graduation, but we'll forever be united by the deep emotional scars these places left us with. And, go class of 2002.
If you are enjoying the Reset Show series and you are finding yourself being enlightened, please give the video content a like and share.
To be alone, you and I were never meant to be alone. But our love is overgrown. Never meant to be alone. You and I were never meant to be alone. But our love is overgrown. Never meant to be alone. You and I were never meant to be alone. But our love is overgrown. Now I have to let you go. Never meant to be alone. You and I were never meant to be alone. But our love is overgrown. Now I have to let you go. Never meant to be alone. You and I were never meant to be alone. But our love is overgrown. Now I have to let you go. Let you always stay.
Chapter 8, Human Greatness. William Morris and the crew are on their way to the capital, El Arca. Morris, Captain Butler, and the entire crew arrive in this luminous city. Morris said that he would never have even been able to imagine such a city. It was just so surreal. People filled the public spaces, restaurants, and walkways. He describes them as almost looking like they're going to collide, but they never do. Everyone moves in a perfect synchronicity almost. Captain Butler is leading the way. In the sky, there are these huge transparent spheres that go from one way to the other. And typically it carries one person, but in some occasions they were even seen two. And these were moving transparent spheres that would float in the air. I guess that this is the place where everything actually became like the Jetsons. Like when we were kids, we were waiting finally for the year 2020 for the Jetsons reality to be all around us. And yet, besides cell phones, computers, Teslas, I don't know, things like that, nothing ever really changed. Like we're still using the same furniture, the same kind of cars. It's weird, since everyone expected us to be a lot more evolved by now. So the first thing they see are these spheres being driven by people. Strange balloons that floated across the sky. The weird thing about the citizens of El Arca is that even though a few miles away there was this huge war that just started and was taking place, they weren't affected by it. They were totally acting normal with nonchalance, like continuing their everyday life. Now in the capital, El Arca, Morris tells us that they don't speak English. See, there were a lot of comments that wanted to know why they spoke perfect English in the Ancestral Republic. Well, here in El Arca, they do not. It's actually a foreign language, a language they had never heard before. In fact, Morris makes reference that if they had lost sight of Butler, they wouldn't even know how to communicate with these people because of this weird language that was impossible to decipher and like none other he had ever heard. He asked himself, was this the native language? A time before time? What if it was the first spoken language? Remember, in this book, the situation is that the people from the known lands had been subjected to a great reset and forgot all of their real history. The team was very united. This fantastic new adventure, these new worlds that no one had any idea about, was bringing the team closer. Everyone was very excited to meet these Anakim giants. They could not believe that they really existed. Morris was afraid that this attack on the Ancestral Republic was their fault. Was this the punishment because they had left the known lands? The entire team threw themselves into all of these theories and trying to figure out what it all meant. Of course, they had not received all of the information they needed. They were starting to think that the ice walls were artificial. Another big question that they had were the custodians other humans? Are they another race? New races, just like the giants. So far, they had new races, giants, artificial walls. They began to dig so deep into these theories that they sounded borderline ridiculous. The team reunites with Captain Butler, and Captain Butler tells them that they're going to take a boat now and points in the direction of a harbor at a boat that looks just like the huge, gigantic red one that approached them in the beginning as soon as they had crossed the ice walls. Everything was ready for them to leave for the Anakim lands, but first they were going to make a stop at a place called the Captain's Land. They get onto the ship and they said that every room had the decor of like a different era, but an era that was unknown. How many eras were there that the known land people were not privy to, had no clue? Everything was so difficult to understand. And the technology that they were seeing was advanced light years compared to ours. They were told that the ship they were on could practically take care of itself. It was very silent, and from the inside, you could not even hear the water on the outside. Then Morris notices that the waters outside were calm, but calm in a way that it was stable. And this was going on for the entire trip. Their waters didn't move like ours. Now he's obsessed with figuring out why the waters don't move like ours. And this is when he started to think about the moon that was 3 times brighter than how we see it from the known lands. He said that the sun was a totally different color than ours, and that there was also another sphere that was bluish black in the sky. Nevertheless, this other sphere was also part of the firmament.
If you are enjoying the Reset Show series and you are finding yourself being enlightened, please give the video content a like and share.
1871, where people didn't even have cars yet. They had to ride their horses or run around in order to escape this fire. The population simply wasn't 300,000 people like we're being told.
And these cities were actually empty, and the previous civilization was erased. And it was time, more specifically, a planned time, to demolish most of their work. And they just absolutely shredded these 17,500 buildings with massive bombs and explosives to destroy the old world civilization's construction. Buildings that would have given this entire false narrative away decades ago. Right after this 1871 fire, they tell us that they just cleaned the whole thing up, and all these other brand new buildings are magically here again. If you think that Donkeys Incorporated saddled up in the early half of the 1800s and knocked out massive cities for only 57,000 people, I think it's time to reconsider what you've been told. And this reminds me of the repeating narrative, where they tell us that everything was built in a year perfectly, over and over and over, all over the world, by a guy and his donkey riding team, with no power tools, no machines, no training. The stone shipping company coordinated the delivery right on time. The mud trails and the rain were never an issue. The freezing winters, they just told them to get over it and toughen up. And they get the whole building, or cathedral, done with no issues, done in 7 months.
If you are enjoying the Reset Show series and you are finding yourself being enlightened, please give the video content a like and share.
There's a lot of lies going on. We've been lied to about a lot of from very young. This is why they teach you this bullshit when you're a child. They teach you all these lies when you're a child.
The size of a town today was the size of the world population in the year that they're telling us that they knocked out a palace that lasts forever. Now, we all know that this was constructed by a very powerful, very intelligent civilization, and the population worldwide definitely took a massive hit at some point before the 1700s, where humans, I believe, repopulate back to billions of people relatively fast. I think the real population chart looks much different than what we're shown. I think that there are many times that the population worldwide is in the billions. Based on what they're telling us, you can look at this chart for yourself, showing that basically nobody was even here in the 1200s, according to the mainstream narrative. This shows that nobody could build massive palaces with no power tools, zero equipment, no training processes. The 25 people that lived in Budapest, their only edge against our civilization today was having a little better work ethic. And that's not working anymore. These charts are nonsense. They show how fast humans truly do recreate to the population that we're at today, which is why they are able to reset the population so often, in my opinion, using the same ridiculous narratives over and over for the exact same buildings.
And so then they'll go back and reset time and take us back to the dark age and hide the technology, and they'll make and replay the whole shit over again. They will make man discover electricity again. They will make man discover phones again. All this shit, they'll just do it all over again like they doing something new to make that next generation get harvested too, to think that we ain't done this before.
Using the same technology that was here before and just pretending like it's all brand new. Where this place that we live is much different than we're being told.
And so they'll reset at the end of every age once we see what's going on, and then they'll destroy all the technology, but they still got them souls though.
Everything is given back to us. Everything is one big cycle. Everything. The years go from January to December. Every year. Seasons, days, technology, and civilizations. Everything is one big cycle. Everything.
So every time they reach the height of technology, these civilizations just disappear.
And I wouldn't be shocked at all if we do too. I wonder if they know this. This all feels like some sort of treasure hunt, like some sort of game. To see who can find this information, where we have all heard the saying that they have to tell us like it's a rule, where I'm starting to think it's not that they have to tell us, it's that they want to tell us.
Bro. It's nonsense.
It's not that they have to tell us, it's that they want to tell us, like it's fun to them, to see who can crack the code, that nearly everything in our so-called reality is complete nonsense. And our true reality is much deeper than what we're told.
Damn, that was intense.
Do your own research, people.
And then we're in space for the title scene. I love that. It's beautiful. Like, that's not the Earth, right? The Earth is round, just so y'all know. I'm tired of all the flat earthers out here, bro. I'm tired of all the flat earthers. It's not possible for the Earth to be flat. It's literally not. Everything in science contradicts it.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
A logical fallacy is an error in reasoning. It occurs when an argument's form is flawed. He categorized them into two types. Those depending on language, arguments failing at the level of grammar, and those not depending on language, arguments failing at the level of logic. If an argument is fallacious, it is wrong, illogical, and invalid. Sophistry is the art of using flawed arguments to deceive. Whether intentional or not, people often resort to fallacious reasoning when defending various propositions. Without a firm grasp of formal logic and an awareness of common logical fallacies, as taught in the trivium, it's easy to be misled. The appeal to authority fallacy. This fallacy occurs when an argument is accepted as true based solely on the authority or reputation of the person making the claim, rather than on the strength of the evidence presented. For example, a globe earther might claim that the Earth is a sphere simply because renowned scientists like Einstein or Newton have supported similar concepts. This appeal to authority assumes the claim is true based on the reputation of these figures, without providing additional evidence or addressing the empirical data supporting the level Earth.
And get this theater was supposedly fireproof. 1 month after being opened, it burns down. This is incredible. And we have seen this exact story before from our St. Louis episodes, when they say that the fire started due to lighting the curtain on fire. So this curtain starts on fire, and the fire exits were locked or hidden, which sounds like a plan. Opinion. Even if this wasn't an event, let's think logically here. In 1871, during the Chicago fire, when 17,500 stone and brick buildings were magically burned to the ground, even though we know that stone and brick does not burn to the ground from house fires, which is why you have stone and brick fireplaces inside your living room. And everyone all over the world remains extremely calm. And your neighbors don't seem to mind either. It doesn't and never will spread to their house or to the basement. It won't make your house look like a bomb went off. And I guess I should say don't try this at home. But come on, you get the point.
What?
Nearly every single one of these great fires happened in the 1800s, right after the 1776 date, which was when the USA began. The main great fire that predates this 1776 date falls on 1/6, which is the London Great Fire, which is where the USA originally came from. And I'm guessing, based on all of my research, that this date of 1/6 is a code and not a real event. Because I'm about to take this thing to a whole nother level from this point until the end of the episode. And now that we have looked into this, compared it to other situations, shown factual evidence that they are lying in all of this, I want to give my opinion on what happened. I think that the population worldwide was basically zero in the early 1800s. The previous civilization's population around the world before 1776, I would say 100 years prior to 1776, based on the condition that these buildings were in. It would put it at around 100 years, realistically. It couldn't have been thousands of years. These buildings would have just been a mess, just from the nature growing all over it and inside. But I believe the worldwide population in what we call the 15 or 1600s was massive. I believe that the technology was much more advanced than what we have today.
That's why history repeats itself every 7,000 years. Because it takes them 7,000 years to act out the biblical script. And then they have a reset where they depopulate the earth and they start it back to Genesis again. The world is a stage. And the script that they acting out is the Bible. That's why the president put his hand on that Bible.
The people of the West are starting to tear down their own false idols and the whole quasi-religious secular worship of the rich. And once you realize that your country, your so-called civilization, once you realize that it is primitive and savage and cynical, you start to realize that you never stopped being serfs in the West, and they never stopped being feudal lords and feudal masters in the West. And the whole narrative that you grew up believing is just a tapestry of lies. It's a sack that they put over your head so that you could never see what's really going on.
Everything is fake, bro. Why you think they created Photoshop? To manipulate. Most folk probably never heard of Photoshop, but if you have, it's to manipulate. Everything is to manipulate. This is the world where they turn everything that's artificial, official.
It is incredible when you know what to look for. So it's time to go to the east coast of the USA, Buffalo, New York, where we will find the Dennis Building, and yet another building that holds multiple names. The Dennis Building, the Glenny Store or Crockery Store, the Glenny Building, and the Stanton Building, and yet another building that, of course, holds a fire story in 1905. And not only that, but we also get the reoccurring names. Yes, it is possible for him and his sons to have the exact same name. But when we have seen this in so many narratives about these old world buildings, where both brothers marry somebody named Alice, and their mom is also Alice, and their dog, and their cat, and their hamster that they found at Alice Pet Store. And the building is also named Alice.
were we talking about?
And this has happened hundreds of times, where the AI is generating these names over and over. And then it becomes so clear that these mainstream narratives surrounding these buildings are AI generated. It also shows how these narratives could be completed so fast. And this really wouldn't be that difficult to produce in such a short time frame. You just throw in the parameters that they want covered in the narrative, and the ChatGPT can do it in 2 seconds. We all know here that the ChatGPT didn't just come out. It's not brand new. We know this. It's been here before for a very long time, and the hidden group has had it.
We are in the land of forgetfulness. We have forgotten our true nature, and 24/7 we're being encouraged to forget and to remain in a state of self-identity amnesia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear citizens of America. We here at NASA have been lying to you all since the 60s about our projects, operations, and missions into outer space. We have never been higher than lower Earth orbit.
Okay, look, everybody stop.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
Every image we have shown you is CGI. Our films are mostly done in an underwater buoyancy facility. We have funneled millions of dollars per day to show you cartoons and false illusions, and we are truly very sorry. We will repay all taxpayers back the trillions of dollars we have stolen. This will be divided evenly between the citizens of America, as well as rebuilding poverty-stricken towns and cities all across America, as this department has finally come to an end.
Every time we blindly follow an idol or leader, we participate in an invisible ritual designed to distance us from our essence.
What does it all mean? Am I just grasping at straws? Wait, straws. That's it. Straws are used to drink soda or water, and plants need water.
Even our daily activities have been shaped to channel our sacrifices toward a system that does not directly benefit us, but instead feeds the elites controlling the domo.
Ah, dude.
Modern sacrifice is an invisible ritual. It manifests in long hours dedicated to pursuing fabricated ideals.
Look, if I'm gonna die ignorant and happy.
You've been trying to hide the truth from them all this time. You thought you were just passing your time when you were binge watching Netflix. You didn't know that you were being deliberately distracted, deliberately diverted. Your attention was deliberately being redirected so that you wouldn't realize that crimes were being committed. They filled your life with ugliness so that you would use whatever free moment you had to just passively and vicariously stare at the vapid beauty of celebrities. Oh, they've been drugging you. They've been sedating you for years now, for decades. And all this time, they've been making you the unknowing accomplice to their inhuman oppression and brutality. You're supposed to direct all of your outrage and all of your anger and all of your grievances and all of your opposition at the decoys, at the effigies, at the fake representatives of power, the expendable puppet politicians dangled in front of you by the real private sector ruling class.
And it's weird, because you have pyramids all over the place. They're everywhere. Maybe not as big as the monks' pyramid, but there were a lot of them that have been destroyed in the last 100 years. This one is actually still here, which is exactly how our construction works today. It just lasts forever. Oh, it doesn't? No, it doesn't. And it's so weird just looking at these pictures. They look so out of place. And they look out of place because they are. And we know this here. But you look at the ground and it looks so fresh, like brand new topsoil that you buy from Home Depot. Like the grounds crew just got done raking it and getting it ready to be shown off to the public. It's honestly so weird. And what are these people doing? They don't even look real. Where are they walking to? They all look dressed up and just taking a stroll. My opinion is that those are Photoshop people. We have seen this kind of thing so many times, where they don't show any faces, and the people don't fit in with the picture. Exactly how the building, or in this case pyramid, doesn't fit in our timeline. If you have used ChatGPT, you will fully understand how simple this would be to create a false narrative using AI. And if we are allowed to use ChatGPT, what kind of AI do you think they have? Even languages are very interesting. Were all these languages developed all over the world to keep us from being able to share valuable information with each other and to free ourselves from the insane controlled system? In my opinion, I think that's clear and obvious at this point. And it seems like once we become bored or uninterested in the item, they release the next item of technology that the past civilization already had. This group of people have much more to release, to profit off of, and to use to control the masses and manipulate the minds. We have talked about books in the past and how it is important to have them. If this trend continues for another 100 years, where people use books less and less, at a certain point there will not be any books. If our information is wiped from the computers, what will be left? The answer is nothing. Nothing will be left. And this is how history can easily be rewritten, to trick the next civilization into thinking that they are the first ones.
I'm looking going, what the hell happened? Man.
How have we been so naive for so long? Why are we just waking up to the nonsense as a whole? We are fully investigating the historical nonsense that we have been force-fed. Was Columbus even real? I'm leaning towards no. And the fact that we argue whether he was a good guy or a bad guy is exactly what they want us to do. Once you pick either good or bad, it is actually an acknowledgement that he was real. And you are accepting their nonsense. 1492, nobody named Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Not in the Pinta, not the Nina, or the Santa Maria. He didn't trick Indians, none of this happened. These are all mind control tactics that are implemented at a very young age. And songs work the best. In my personal opinion, the fact that everything has been given back to us in the last 300 years systematically proves that there is a group of individuals that are controlling this and giving misinformation about the historical narrative. It's not mathematically possible for there to be no electricity for thousands of years. And out of nowhere, we have all of this technology. And the same goes for the possibility that every house in your neighborhood has been burned to the ground.
I'm hitting the reset button. You hear me? I'm hitting the reset button.
That's impossible. Yet nearly every old world building holds a fire story in its narrative. And every major city has had a great fire. And are these fires great? Not for us, but I think for them. To destroy all of the past civilization's things. All happening within the last 200 to 300 years. But why lie about the history? Well, why not?
That they're capable of like pulling something off like that. Like the fact, like think the scale, the magnitude of planning it would take to put something like that together and make it believable.
You get to hold on to all the power over all the people. You've done it all before. You know how the system works. You've got all the kinks out in the past civilization. Now you get to control the banking system, all technology, the governments, what the people watch, what the people listen to. You control what is acceptable in society. You control what is not acceptable in society. And what is thought of as crazy. Why wouldn't they reset the system and control it all for their advantage? Releasing old world tech to their advantage when there was already free energy. Some people have asked, why would they lie about all of this? When all people should be asking, why wouldn't they lie? Wouldn't they lie? Wouldn't they lie? Wouldn't they lie?
All right, Eggman, I'm gonna stop your evil plans. Wow, this music's pretty dope. Yeah, hey, yeah.
Yo, Sonic, what are you still doing at the beginning of the zone?
Yeah, we battling or what? Shut up, Eggman, this is the best part.
Way back in Marble Garden, we were shown a decaying temple well in the process of being reclaimed by nature. And throughout the whole level, over and over again, we were shown the absolute lack of sanctity that Robotnik had for this place.
Collapsing structures and causing earthquakes, and all because he was searching for something in the ruins.
Back-to-back catastrophic hurricanes can't tell me that they didn't have a hand in that.
Controlling the weather. We've been doing that since Vietnam War that I know of. Hell, what's new?
The Democrats are controlling the weather?
The government.
We're here in Santa Barbara County, home to one of the longest running cloud seeding operations in the country. We've got some ground-based cloud seeding equipment right here, and we're going to get to hear all about how it works and see it in action. Cloud seeding is the most common type of weather modification, and it has many different techniques and applications.
As I've never understood, Robotnik has bunkered himself in a hidey hole and is broadcasting some kind of weather-changing satellite signal. Robotnik's goal throughout his time on the floating island is to locate and excavate the Master Emerald.
The story goes our world's a whole lot bigger than we've been led to believe, buddy. That we are allegedly surrounded by this massive ice wall. Somewhere far outside of this ice wall, there is a place called the Ancestral Lands. This is where the Vanderleys were from. Amidst one of their expeditions, they discovered a massive wall made of ice in the middle of the ocean. Eventually, they found passages in the ice wall big enough for their ship to get inside. And the weeks that followed marked the discovery of 7 different continental landmasses. Each family claimed one. And so our world was born. They devised a plan to populate each continent with their own people from the ancestral lands. But only embryos. So they, or we would have no knowledge of our origins.
They reached a great development in the modification of the climate, and it is common that they create great walls of ice around the colonized lands. This they began to use in the last times, since before they had not reached this development. The walls served them as a great shield to be able to protect or enclose even more the colonized races. In this way, it is very difficult for them to escape, even when they have to leave some worlds by necessity to go in search of another.
After Sonic accidentally drops his pouch of rings, he pulls up his map of safe worlds that he can move to if needed, with the map being full of classic Sonic the Hedgehog Easter eggs. The centermost image of an island is of course Sonic's homeworld of Mobius Island. Then at the very top, we can see the logo for the Sega Saturn console next to an image of a weird-looking sun, with that sun having appeared in early concept art for the first Sonic video game. Then next to that, we can see the checkered design of the Blue Sphere bonus stage world from the original Sonic games. Not very far from a big-ass Chaos Emerald on the bottom right of the page. Then to the very left of Mobius Island, we have the Mushroom World that Sonic is dreading to have to migrate to. And some of the items on Sonic's list include making a crank call, sailing the high seas, starting a bar fight, running along the Great Wall. However, due to Robotnik unlocking the raw power in Sonic's quill, he's able to access Sonic levels of speed, triggering the same race across San Francisco that we saw at the very beginning of the movie. And during this chase, Sonic sees a bus advertising a visit to Paris, which prompts Sonic to do exactly that with one of his rings. And this is of course before Sonic would then teleport himself to the Great Wall of China to scratch another item off of his bucket list before then teleporting to the Pyramids of Egypt. And in order to protect Sonic from these attackers, Longclaw gives Sonic her collection of magic golden rings that allow Sonic to travel to different worlds in the universe.
Magic golden rings that allow Sonic to travel to different worlds in the universe.
We really don't know. What was knocked down before we were born? How long have they been knocking down buildings? 200 years? 300 years? We know, and we have documented many times, that they are still destroying these buildings today. And that's not including the entire cleanup project, from the firebombs going off in 1871, all over downtown Chicago. But in the 1800s, there was no way to communicate this. to thousands and millions of people, to let everybody know that this is happening in their town, and so that everyone could share that it was also happening in their town at the exact same time. They didn't have internet. I believe this was all taken away before 1776 and slowly given back to us. From that point on, the only news that anyone had that was being shared with the population was all controlled. And it seems like our ancestors from the 1800s were all just under their spell, and nobody could see what was going on around them and what the controllers were doing.
Hey everybody, Sonic and Tails here, and welcome to another episode of Sonic Reacts. And today we're reacting to Sonic 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Why do you have to call every sequel Electric Boogaloo?
I don't know. Why do I have to suck on the ice cubes in your drink and spit them back into the glass?
Shouldn't you be working on Sonic Goes to College?
Spring break!
It's not an answer.
Make trailer go now. Nebraska.
So much corn to husk.
Quick stretch, little snack.
Chili dog.
Here we go.
This shouldn't inflate your ego at all.
Don't make it this. Classic me, saving armored trucks.
You blew up an ATM yesterday.
That was for charity.
Ooh, what'd I miss? I thought I heard a hot dog on screen somewhere.
Yeah, you just killed the turtles.
You're still just a kid.
Still just a kid? You're a fucking boomer.
Hey, I'm 30. That makes me like a MILF or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's one of my space suppositories.
I like a good rocket booster on my suppositories.
You know, Carrie was supposed to shadow me for 8 months to get inside my brain.
Yeah, how'd that go?
He walked in when I was taking a dump in the sink and I never heard from him again.
Lightweight. Oh shit, Infinity Stones.
I call Thanos.
I call Mantis.
What? Okay. Oh, fuck yeah! The real star of the show!
Hope I'm not too late.
Nice voice, Small Wonder.
They made me into a little kid? This is worse than not being in the movie.
So, is Tails like my ward in this? Am I your dad?
This is a nightmare.
You guys watching the Sonic 2 Electric Boogaloo trailer?
Yeah, Tails plays my daughter.
Yeah, I can see that. I heard they got some cool actor to play me in this. Paul Giamatti. Marty Wolf from Big Fat Liar? I hope he says my famous catchphrase.
Don't.
You don't crack Knuckles. Knuckles cracks you.
That's actually not terrible.
Don't encourage him.
It's your big moment, Knuckles. Don't fuck it up.
Oh shit, here we go.
Do I look like I need your power?
Is that what my voice sounds like in real life?
Not even close.
Yeah, huh? Listen. Frying and buying. This is my frying and buying voice now.
It's a nightmare.
You the fry.
You need to change these locks.
Knuckles cracks you. Welcome to burger time. How could I take your order?
All right, Eggman. I'm gonna stop your evil plans. Wow. This music's pretty dope. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Yo, Sonic, what are you still doing at the beginning of the zone?
Yeah, we battling or what?
Shut up, Eggman. This is the best part.
Oh, you like the music? You know, Michael Jackson was involved, but for legal reasons, I can't really get into it. Anyways, do you want to fight or whatever? Or
Forget all that. Flying Battery Zone, Metropolis Zone, Chemical Plant Zone. These sick beats are what it's all about, not battling over some shiny gems.
But Sonic, what about fighting for freedom?
Tails, I'm sick of freeing the Green Hill Zone, aren't you? How do they keep getting conquered so easily? Wouldn't you rather just dance to these dope tracks?
Well, these beats are pretty sick.
You said it, Fox Guy. Let's make some music.
I'm gonna go do a line of rings in the bathroom. You want in?
Hell yeah! Green Hill Zone.
I know I'm not on the list. Just please let me in. Are they playing Slipknot in there? Come on, man. I'm a huge Slipknotaholic.
Ha! You'll never defeat me, Sonic. Hey, those are mine. Timesies, I call timesies. Wow. You are definitely not supposed to eat those.
It is quite sad when you consider that so many of us have no idea where we come from. There are so many people on this planet who have no idea where they come from. I'm one of them. I can't go back beyond a couple of generations. And the reason for that is because of war. It's because of slavery. It's because of large human trafficking efforts that take place. And because you have situations like a bomb is dropped, like one kid survives, it doesn't even have a memory of his father or his mother.
The average person who goes to school has no idea why humanity exists. He has no idea concerning a spiritual factor in material existence. He has no general comprehension of the rules of life as these differ from the rules of social and political structure. He does not know where he came from. He does not know why he is here. And he has no idea where he's going. And on this compound ignorance, we offer degrees and make brilliant scholars of the people who have never answered any of those questions. It is one of these amazing things that we have created a great hierarchy of well-lettered ignorance. We have made everything subservient not to wisdom, but to the passing advantages of the hour.
If you don't know where you came from, you know nothing. I mean, that's the reality. When he says that we've parked aside wisdom and replaced it with something else, that is the truth. That is what comes from ancestry. There's a certain wisdom that comes from ancestry, which is why it becomes important to understand, well, if we don't know history, we know nothing. Everything is becoming an ever-present. Now, the reason why I'm speaking to you about this is twofold, because it's very important for us to understand that, again, the job is to not just delete your ancestral history via never-ending wars, moving people around, large human trafficking operations. Essentially, you don't have a memory of yesterday.
Okay, so that was the last reset, 1728. And I want to read this to y'all real quick, just so y'all can see what happened. It says, having lost the war against the Anunnaki, the custodians returned to find their most prized human colony in a state of great technological advancement and rebellion. It says, fearing they would lose control completely, the custodians again joined the Anunnaki in a treaty to plan a new reset. And it says the reset was carried out through a great mud flood generated by the Anunnaki pyramids combined with the controlled explosions to destroy the great cores in the center of Tartarus. You're right. You said that they came. Rashad Jamal was talking about how they came from nowhere.
Yeah, I heard him
it's
say
because they
that.
did come from nowhere. They came from outside the ice wall. The Anunnaki have to intermingle with Tiamat to create peace so that they can actually rule the whole galaxy. So when they did that, they created 13 tribes, which is one of them is the African American. And a bunch of other different tribes. You got different types of black-looking people. You got Klingon-looking people, Draconian Klingons, Theon-looking black people. You know, because their species is mixing together to create the perfect species, which is the African American, and that's why the African American is the true rulers of the whole entire galaxy, because we have the genetics of every creature in the world. So this is all just a genetic, big old giant genetic war. So the Anunnaki and the custodians are basically some goddamn haters, right? Because they don't want us to take the rulership of the galaxy. They want to keep resetting us back and keep resetting us because they don't want us to claim dominion. Because we are the remaining children of Tiamat, and this is actually we're actually the rulers of this whole realm. So this is all just basically, and also we have the ability to transcend into the fifth dimension. That's something the Anunnaki and the Greys can't do. That's why they're trying to figure out what's the deal about us. Because we can transcend to the fifth dimension and they can't. Because our mother, which is where we all come from, Tiamat, is from the fifth dimension. They're not from the fifth dimension. You see what I'm saying? They fell in frequency to their realm. So the Lyrans fell in frequency and the Draconians fell in frequency when they used to be at the fifth dimension. So they're trying to find their way back to the higher realms. They're trying to find their way back into heaven. But they can't because they genetically manipulated themselves so much that they had to basically bring it back in with Tiamat. And that's what that war was about. That whole war about Marduk basically coming over there to conquer Tiamat so that they could still have dominion over the galaxy.
Are you familiar of the war in Normanburg?
Yeah, I heard about that before. Yeah,
that was basically that was something to do with Tartaria. Now they alleged that it was 1561, but we know what happened before that. But what they said, Mama T, is they seen spaceships and all that blasting shit up. It's people that actually drew pictures of what they seen. They seen ships, UFO type ships, spraying lasers down and all that. Now we seen what happened in Hawaii when they had the ability of literally, I believe they use direct energy weapons where they can literally, and then you heard about people hang blue on their roof, and blue actually repels laser technology because there's something special about blue, the color blue. And this is why, and hoodoo, they use Haint blue. They paint their windowsills with Haint blue and things of that nature. And why the evil eye is blue to repel what they call blue hags. Just like they use direct energy weapons to actually eradicate Tartaria and cause the mud flood. I believe that here's the thing. Because we saying they ain't changed the timeline since Tartaria, but for all we know, they probably have a new way to reset us.
They also have a timeline that is finite. Like,
because these Anunnaki had technological weapons. For example, Marduk had a weapon called the Hulu, which can manipulate wind. Inky had a trident where he can actually, like you see Aquaman with the trident. This is Inky. He had the ability of manipulating water with technological devices like the trident. All right.
Ah, here it is. This is a weather stick. You can control the elements with it. Whoa! Where did you get this? I got it from my friends, the Placeans. It's quite flexible, if you know how to use it.
And when Arushka Girl basically went to war with Inanna, the story goes that Arushka Girl basically killed Inanna. But Inky had the ability of rejuvenating her, bringing her back to a quantum rejuvenation chamber. But after seeing what Arushka Girl and the Dark Brotherhood did, he realized that information will be put in Nefarious hands. So the story goes that he basically flooded Atlantis with his trident, basically to stop the nefarious factions from ascertaining that information from Atlantean science.
I just wanted to clarify that with people when we talk about extraterrestrial, they're always we're thinking boogeymen, little green Martians, and shit like that. There's humanoids, there's human beings all over the galaxies. There's human type beings. All right. So I just wanted to just make that clear for people like in the back.
Now I was talking also about Osiris being green earlier, right? And I wanted to just say something about that. Now, the reason why we was greens and blues, like different colors, is because in ancient times, we didn't have iron. Our skin had magnesium in it before it was replaced with iron. And the oxygen in our metallics is rusted out. This is why certain people are born with Mongolian birthmarks and still born with green birthmarks and blue, because in ancient times, we really were blues and bright greens. Okay. We were different luminous colors. All right. We have more magnesium in our skin.
That's interesting. Now, is that something to do with the oxygen too? Because was this dome always here? Or did something trap us up in here?
Well, according to ancient texts, the dome was placed over us by the Anunnaki, by the Anunnaki, by different beings that pretty much, it's almost like a prison planet in a sense, to some degree. Damn. It's a hydrogen dome. Some say you got to go 33 times the speed of sound in order to bypass the firmament.
Some say you got to go 33 times the speed of sound in order to bypass the firmament.
We actually activated our Merkaba and actually came over to this planet, but we came from over from Mars, but we inhabited that planet also. This is why Marvin the Martian is depicted in blackface and dressed like a Moor.
Dude, facts. Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he got the Moor colors on. If you look at Marvin the Martian,
isn't he? Yes, he is.
Marvin the Martian. This is why they put him. They say he's from Mars. They show us in Hollywood all the time.
Okay. This is a great question. Where the hell these people come from? Okay, because if we were here, we had this ancient civilization. How did they get here? There's a theory that said they didn't get here until 1492. And all the stories and histories that they're teaching us, they're fabricated, right? About their stories and their history, that they actually landed here in 1492. Not just landed in America, but landed on everywhere earthly realm.
And you know what?
I have that.
I believe that, fam. In conclusion, with all of this stuff that we've been going over, I believe Atlantis, Tartaria was really all over the whole damn globe, and it reset everything and said it was just in certain parts, just to try to distort our original perception of how advanced we really was as an entirety.
Those people were schooled by another people of that area, which I call Moors. Those people came up and actually, pushed the Moors out, but then they came here. So what people don't understand is a lot of teachings that come from that culture goes into their culture. They perfected it and brought it over here, and they lay it on thick over here. See, that's what people don't understand.
When we go to these different areas, even just through the Caribbean, through Mexico, it's Spanish, it's French, right? Or it's Italian, right? So are they the originators of this language? And how did they get overthrown by some people that they've educated?
So basically, the Caucasian people come from the Caucasus Mountains of Asia Minor. That's where the word Caucasus Asian comes from, Caucasian. Okay, so this is where the origins of the Neanderthals actually from. If you actually go to the mountains of Ukraine and the Caucasus Mountains, you'll see that there's caves still there for the Neanderthals. Those caves are in the walls of the mountains because they was placed there, like almost as if somebody built it for them to live there. Like the Flintstones. The Flintstones, they start off in the mountains. You see what I'm saying? And with the dragons and all this and that there. But just to cover about I want to talk about two things. The 1492 thing, you're right. You said that it came, Rashad Jamal was talking about how they came from nowhere.
Yeah, I heard him say
it's because they did come from nowhere. They came from outside the ice wall.
I'm sorry, what?
Ancestral Republic. That's what they talk about in the book. How majority of the people had passed away on the earth, so they needed to create more people like them, clones. So they created the clones on the Ancestral Republic and brought all the ashes over to everywhere. They started scattering them around to basically reset the whole earth. They added 1,000 years to the timeline. You know what I'm talking about, wordplay, right? It's not 1492 that Cortez came to America. It's 492. 492. Check this out. Since you took 1,000 years off the timeline, you got to condense all the history into one and watch how that stuff fits right into place. So basically, so check this out. Rome fell when? 500 AD. The same time the Dark Ages happened in England, 500 AD. And Cortez invaded America when? 8 years before the fall of Rome? You see what I'm saying? You see how all the stuff was happening at the same time? Rome was here, England, America was here. It was all happening at the same time. You see what I'm saying? But what they did was they added 1,000 years to separate the history. See, King Arthur was in 450 AD. That's what King Arthur was. He was a black man. King Arthur was 450 AD. So you mean to tell me 40 years later, Cortez will come invade America? See, you got to take 1,000 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not 1805, it's 805. So it's not, they added 1,000 years to history to confuse us so we can separate the history. But if you take 1,000 years off, you got to condense all the wars and everything into like almost 1,000 years. When them pilgrims came here, we already had cars and airplanes and boats. Everything was already here. They didn't build anything new. And so the hydrogen is what we use for fuel instead of gas. Everything was water-based. So they ain't built nothing. Of course, we're indigenous. We're indigenous to America. We're indigenous to the earth. You know what I'm saying? The whole planet. They're indigenous. Right. The clones, or what they're calling, these Caucasians, were created by the custodians. The custodians created them to basically watch us. And they have the DNA of the custodians. And that's why they don't have them, the melanin of Tiamat. Because they're not from Tiamat. They clone them so that they could actually reset the whole population again. Because when we get too high and too strong and too aware, they bring us back down. So they had 7 resets total.
Obviously, I hope and assume this will be the final version. No, I know it will be. All the kinks have been worked out. This is the one.
trick is to whisk enough air into the eggs that they lighten to a pale yellow. But if you whisk too much, you'll actually beat the air out of them again, which will make your omelette flat.
Is this enough chives?
Yes, ECKO, thank you. But next time, cut them at a slight angle. It exposes more of the interior, which extracts more flavour. And as a bonus, it's more aesthetically pleasing.
I'll be damned. It is more aesthetically pleasing.
What's his sudden interest in omelets?
Oh, the city is going to be destroyed in a few seconds and I don't care anymore.
What?
I said eat up. I spent a week trying to find you and now I'm going to die in lava. Again.
What do you mean again? You're not running.
It doesn't matter. I've been cursed by Kronos. I die every day.
Oh, Tyrannus. Is this why he cursed you? He's done this before, these loops in time. Wait a minute. Am I in it? He put me in a time loop without my permission. We need to stop this. It's too late, this loop.
We have to do all this again?
How do you think I feel? I'm in a time loop.
We should all be safe out here to do this important research.
How is watching an entire city die research?
Aside from Dad, everything happens the same way every day. If I can memorize what happened, we can make a plan to save everyone. You had some thoughts?
Hopefully I'll have them again in the next loop!
Right, this is the path of the lava. This is the safe zone outside the city walls. We clear as many people out as we can before the eruption and then go from there. Go from there. Okay, well, we weren't able to save everyone, but this was the best try yet. We're going to be able to do this, people.
Maybe don't smile so much when these people watch their homes and friends disappear into fire.
To be clear, I wasn't smiling at the tragedy. I was smiling at the future lack of tragedy. I'm just going to go. It's time.
How long have you been doing this?
I lost track after 100 years. 100 years. You missed.
You have to keep reincarnating onto, even in this one universe, never mind all the other realities, you have to keep incarnating onto this billionth of a pinhead to learn the lessons to not have to do it.
Yeah, you learn to work with your mom. Good for you. So you want to keep doing that? Learn how to work with people and then work with them? Or is it going to turn out that's the kind of thing you only do when you think it's going to pay off for you somehow? And once you realize it isn't, you get a little bored and give up? Now that you can really afford to ask that question. Now that you have the time.
You come into this world to learn lessons. But what happens? You suffer from emotional and mental traumas and challenges. It pulls you into depression, into anxiety.
Thought so. Wake up! Now that's what I'm talking about.
Huh?
You learned your lesson. Great.
What lesson? That everything is pointless. Nothing matters.
Why, if you're learning lessons and building on previous lessons to reach enlightenment, why do you forget the lessons you're supposed to have already learned when you come here and you start with a blank sheet of paper again? It makes no sense. It's frankly ridiculous from my perspective.
Yes! I haven't heard you crying and sucking your thumb for a while. Or questioning me.
Are you a child? Are you kidding me?
Little man, I would kill you for talking to me like that. Like that.
What?
You get to live the volcano day one more time. No take-backs. Move forward with what you've learned. What are you going to do, little man?
Wait, you didn't stop the volcano?
I didn't start the volcano. I just saw it and thought, this could be funny.
I'm hitting the you reset button.
Hey, volcano erupted.
Did it. Everyone is out.
Still, never hurts to do one final sweep before the bar burns down.
Dad, no! All right, that's enough. What the hell were you thinking?
I wasn't. Honestly, I didn't think. I guess I am stubborn. I didn't know how stubborn until I spent a millennium refusing to say, you win. But my flaw is also my strength. And maybe that's what being immortal makes it impossible to understand.
Oh, okay. So, I thought you were trying to say humans were better than us. But if you're saying it's just how you were born, like a congenital disorder, then it's not your fault. So, there's no point in me punishing you for it. Yeah, you humans can go on existing and I'll take a nap till you're done. I'm going to give you like 10,000 years at most.
What about me?
You'll live, and you know what? I'll even undestroy your city. After you go to sleep tonight, one more reset, no volcano. Never liked those fire lizards anyway. I might actually skip my nap and see how this pans out. You dummies aren't uninteresting.
I've become convinced from the evidence I've seen over 32 years that reincarnation is real. So what the hell is going on?
I would say that they were descendants of who the Anunnaki made, and that a lot of people today are more than likely going to be descendants of the Cabbage Patch program, where there is a lot of evidence to support that they repopulated after 1776 by cloning.
So where do babies come from? In the early 1900s, the most common answer given to children would simply be that the stork would bring the babies, or that they were found in a cabbage patch. But why would babies be found in cabbage patches?
When the people of Europe overflowed into the rest of the world between the 16th and 19th centuries, the indigenous population of most colonized lands went under.
The legend of the Cabbage Patch Kids involves a young boy named Xavier who meets a mystical fairy bunny bee creature, so a hybrid or chimera. And he follows this bunny bee through a secret tunnel behind a waterfall. On the other side of this waterfall, he finds that babies are being produced in a cabbage patch. The stork, known as Colonel Casey, would then come and pick up the babies. He even has his own uniform. So he's a worker, a soldier, as well as the Cabbage Patch Kids' official historian that would then deliver the babies to their new homes.
Compounding this is the difficulty people have, your average person like me, when you go to do your family tree on Ancestry.com, that once you get back past the 1800s, the information you've got is very difficult to prove. We don't know what we're reading. There are no newspaper articles supporting anything. There's no photographic evidence of anything. People will say, well, they refer to parish records, but unless you physically go into the church itself and find. So I think that for many of us, our story and our ancestors and our family tree doesn't go back very far at all. And that was a race of people that descended from the creation, I suppose, of the Anunnaki, the people that they made to mine and mine gold for them and obey their instructions. I think that they were descending from them, and I don't think that there are many of them around today. I think we are a different civilization entirely.
Okay. And so where does the white skin come from? And has that become so prevalent because of cloning?
Yeah, well, there's research into the Breatharians that were part of the Tartarian culture. And these were people that actually, they say, that a little bit like a plant does, that they harnessed their energy from sunlight, and that all they needed was water and direct sunlight. They didn't eat. And that is why they've built such incredible structures throughout the world that have no toilets. Now, you could argue that the Romans had toilets, but then you could argue that that may well have been a different race of people altogether.
There's a category of postcards that deserves its own name and label, but it doesn't seem very well known, as there are no websites or videos explaining this topic. We shall call it the mystery of the repopulation postcards. In order to understand why we've labeled them repopulation postcards, a thorough understanding of resets, Tartaria, orphan trains, incubators, asylums, and oddfellows will be necessary. These cards depict babies being grown. There are many different styles within this category. One of the most interesting is the Cabbage Patch Babies, a variety of themes involving growing babies. Babies in a nest. Babies in eggs being hatched. Then the babies arrive on the train.
So, the darker skin, which you would need to be able to operate or function in this way, was actually capable of actually getting energy from the sun without having to eat. And if you did eat in very, very small quantities and not very regularly. So I think that they were a lot darker and their skin was able to do that. And that's certainly that's been backed up for me by so many different people, referring to so many examples of tribes still alive and well doing that right now, and people who have also done it, but none of them are white.
Okay,
it's not something we're capable of doing. We just burn.
Yes, I know. So has the white skin come from the Anunnaki?
The bunny bee character also is a hybrid creature of two animals that both symbolize rebirth and resurrection on a mass scale. As we know, rabbits reproduce in droves, and the bee symbolism makes me think of a hive, or a queen or source where all the offsprings originate from. It would seem that this is some sort of reference to babies being created in a lab on a mass scale.
See, when them Cabbage Patch dolls came here, meaning that those children with no soul, they came in all colors. And they came here to destroy how we really live.
Why were there so many orphans? The most common answer will be, the baby boom. But this didn't happen until 1946 to 1964. These postcards are from 1890 to 1910. And there's really no explanation for the burst of orphans that we see being brought into the United States, or the amount of orphanages and asylums that exist that no longer seem to be necessary. Could the baby boom narrative be a way to sweep this part of history under the rug? under the rug. The orphanages were all shut down, and after the 60s, people just stopped having babies and getting married after World War II, according to the narrative. Then there were the incubators of the 1900s. It's difficult to keep premature babies alive with modern technology, yet they were doing this back in 1835 in Europe. They turned this into a sideshow, where at the world fairs, they would show off these child hatcheries, these incubators of live children. And for some reason, the royals would come and witness these events.
Then you start to go into this whole thing with the orphan trains and the orphan incubators and the baby incubators and all this really weird stuff. And you have to wonder where all the parents are. Number one, that's a question to ask. Number two, there were lots of experimental injections put into the people from the 1700s to 1800s, which probably removed a lot of the parents from that. And number three, you get into technology of potential of babies being grown. And so once again, if someone doesn't have a memory, if you think of people as clones, and you get into this whole rabbit hole of this and NPCs and clones, well then there's people who've been put into this realm, and they're here, and they're existing, and they wouldn't really have history. Because even when I look at the heritage of many people, and I go through family lineage, and I say, well, who's your family from, and whatever, they usually say, really, my dad's dad was gone. It was just my dad's mom. You always see a missing parent or no parents. And then you sit there and think, so what, they just send them across the ocean on a ship? You know, there's something strange going on, and it's a rabbit hole.
Why so many orphans? Were these orphans taken from their families? Were they trained to instruct a new generation of genetically created babies?
So that I do think that white people, certainly people like me, are a result of cloning and genetically modified. Cloning that happened after the reset.
You guys, I'm so bad. I snorted Dionysus's ergot.
Oh no.
Yeah, that stuff really messes you up. Like I could see sounds and hear colors. The last breath of a dying tree told me a secret of a coin-based currency that when gifted to humans would make them go berserk. It showed me a future where Deliria's stupid families started using this money in their stupid city. They were all being weirder and dumber than usual.
So what did they actually do with it?
They used it to pay for things they wanted or needed.
But why? They already had trade. Did this money make them happy?
Quite the opposite. It made them even more miserable.
Is there a lesson to be learned here? Maybe we should give the humans currency.
If my hallucinations are accurate, and let's be real, they probably are, money could make the mortals do all sorts of horrible things. They might just do anything to get more of it. And inevitably, it could make them all sad. Even the ones with a lot of it. Then they'll come crawling to us. That's more valuable than all the dead chickens!
Is there anything else I can get for you?
No, everything was terrific. Here, take this for your service. It's worth one whole chicken.
And so it begins.
So what exactly is fiat money? How can a piece of paper hold so much value? And why don't we use something more valuable, like gold, as money instead? In this video, we'll dive into the concept of fiat money. Let's get started.
Well, we started using these coins and our civilization really took off. Suddenly I was rich and had something called free time.
How does it work?
We use these to buy and sell goods and services. I'm currently carrying the equivalent of 50 chickens. It's called money. Here, take one.
Apparently, it's based on a standard of exchange where these super fungible tokens, or coins, represent a certain amount that everyone agrees on.
What did you give this Athenian for it?
Nothing really. Just a couple of cows, goats, chickens, most of our weapons. But I'm pretty sure I got the better end of the deal. Think of how much more efficient this will be. And since we're basically at the beginning of time, most people have the same amount of stuff, so they'll be starting on a totally equal playing field.
There's only one problem. What do we do with Athenian money? We don't live in Athens.
I know. I wish. English.
Counterpoint? Screw Athens! What if we made our own money?
It's a long time ago, money didn't even exist.
This is Krapopolis's official coin. What matters is what it represents. Don't you want an opportunity to dream, to create a world where eventually money is something you can hold on to? Grow your wealth instead of having to eat everything you earn.
How does that work?
I'm really glad you asked that before rioting. Instead of something being worth a certain number of chickens or goats, everyone will agree on a coin amount that is fair to both parties. And that amount of coins can then be exchanged for the equivalent in goods and services. I know you're going to be skeptical, but...
It feels right.
You're really into it? You're not just saying you are so you can get my hopes up and crush whatever spirit I have left?
Let's do money!
Okay, everyone line up with your possessions and we'll start handing out the Tyrannuses.
A long time ago, people used a barter system to trade things.
What is this?
It's called money. The city's using it instead of trading chickens.
So these metal discs are valuable to you mortals?
People are nuts for them. When I get enough money, I'm going to get a third pigtail.
Oh, I could finally have a temple full of sacrifices that don't stink like chicken crap. Oh, I like it. I'm in. Spread the word. From now on, Deliria only accepts cold, hard money.
Every hour of every day, this government facility in Washington, D.C. turns paper into money. In order to keep up with demand, these machines are running 24/7, pumping out more than $500 million into the U.S. economy every day.
Just like that.
But this is only a tiny fraction of how much money is really made. Most of our money exists digitally, and this number currently goes up by more than $4 billion every day. Before it ever reached your bank account, it changed hands countless times, passing through people, governments, and businesses, all after being simply typed into existence on a computer.
Tyrannus, we have a slight problem.
What's that?
I went to town to get some lunch.
Woozy's kebab?
Is there any other?
You know it.
Boom! But Woozy wouldn't give me any because I don't have any more money.
That's an easy fix. We can just make a lot more coins.
But if the money isn't worth the value of something specific, isn't it by definition worthless?
In order to fully understand how we got to this point, we need to go back to a time before money.
Being rich is way better.
Sir, here is your chicken.
Excellent. I'm starving.
Actually, chickens cost a bit more now.
How much more?
100 Tyrannuses.
How is that possible?
There's a lot of coins and not a lot of chickens.
Hippo, you're the genius. What do we do about this?
Easy. We make more coins.
If you make more coins, won't chickens just end up costing even more?
We can't let this new system collapse. We're too rich.
If a farmer, thousands of years ago, needed a new tool, he'd go to the local tool maker to buy one. The farmer didn't have anything to give him in return, so instead, they both just agreed that he owed him something in the future. Because the toolmaker trusted the farmer, his promise of future value was an acceptable form of payment. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, the farmer came back and gave him some food from his farm. To make transactions easier, people started to pay using more commonly used items like cattle, grain, and salt. Everyone needed these things, but they were hard to come by, and that's what made them valuable. The farmer could now buy a tool and pay for it right away, using a precise amount of grain that seemed like a fair exchange. This made transactions quicker, and both parties would leave with something valuable to them. But eventually the demand for trade was too much, and paying with a random mix of bulky objects wasn't good enough. People eventually settled on using metal coins, like gold and silver, since they were small, extremely valuable, and would last forever, unlike cattle or grain. Suddenly, trade around the world opened up, and things were being bought and sold all the way from China to Europe. But traveling with so much gold became heavy and dangerous. This was when the whole idea of money started to change.
What the hell is going on?
When I left, Athens was thriving, but I came back to this. It was the money. When the other Athenians got low on coins, they just started making more. It seemed like the perfect solution, but it made everything worse. Like they say, mo money, mo problems.
Oh my God, we are so screwed.
Oh, come on. It couldn't have all been because they made more coins.
The money became worthless and people began to turn on each other.
This is bad.
You think? Our entire civilization collapsed over a 3-day weekend.
What's a weekend?
It's another thing we invented where...
Not the time for new ideas. We still need to fix the problems your last one caused.
What do you want me to do about it?
Oh my God! I don't know yet, but it involves us leaving right now.
You know,
me!
In 17th century London, trusted goldsmiths started to take in people's gold coins, promising to look after them for a small fee. In return, they would give the customer a piece of paper, a promise note that allowed them to retrieve their gold at any time. The key to this piece of paper was that the customer could go to any goldsmith in any town and claim back that exact amount of gold. The paper itself had no intrinsic value, but it became as good as gold. The notes were so convenient that people started simply exchanging them to buy and sell things. The goldsmiths realized that most people weren't actually coming to retrieve their gold, and so they started loaning out fake promise notes to customers, instant money that had to be paid back with interest, making the goldsmiths a small profit. This was fake money that didn't actually come out of their gold supply. If a goldsmith loaned out 100 coins, they wouldn't become 100 coins poorer. They'd simply write the customer a fake note that was worth 100 coins, which could be spent anywhere. Eventually, the customer would pay back the loan plus the fee, making the goldsmith 105 coins richer. On top of that, the customer would spend their money by paying someone for goods, making them richer. From that single loan, the total money in existence increased by 100 coins, yet no new coins were produced.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
What happens if people ever really question the system? It will not stand up to even the most basic scrutiny.
They won't, because they're lazy. And even if one day they do, we'll be long dead by then, and it'll be someone else's problem.
If we replace the goldsmiths with banks and the promise notes with digital money, we have today's system of money.
Money basically is a false promise. That's literally what it's giving.
Rather than question how currency worked, they just went along with it because they really liked buying stuff, which meant they needed more money. So everybody got jobs and worked themselves to the bone. All of this working ate up so much of their lives, they began to forget what made living special.
That was a great video. I learned. That taught me more than school has ever taught me. So.
So, where are you from?
The CIA.
Huh, small world. I work there. And, how long have you and Steve been friends?
My whole life. 3 days.
3 days? Steve, I know you cloned these girls. If the CIA finds out, I'll lose my job. Now I gotta unclone them. Unclone means kill. Honey!
Stan!
Don't judge me. It was just a clone.
I know what you're thinking. How did I end up in this situation? Trust me, it's not an easy story to tell. You see, a long time ago, ancient alchemists stumbled upon the secret of how to birth babies from cabbages. This magic was regarded as the greatest secret. Using the Philosopher's Stone, they were able to find a new way to give birth, through the sacred cabbage. Why cabbage, you might ask? Well, rumor has it that they thought it looked like a baby's head. Makes some sort of sense, right? These cabbages were engineered to grow humans. I guess you could say I'm a homunculus. Actually, we all are. But the new church couldn't let that kind of power stay in the hands of a few alchemists. No, they wanted the cabbage secret for themselves. So they destroyed the alchemist, wiped them out.
I'm sure you can.
What would the scientific reason be? All I've managed to find is scientists saying it's unethical. Why can't you clone a human?
Yeah.
Not that they can't do it, but it's unethical to do it.
The idea would be who owns it, I think, is where that gets to. Because if you have a clone, do you own that clone, or does that clone have its own life?
Yeah.
Because you're paying money for it to be created. So then is it your child? It's not your child.
No.
Who owns this?
No. If you pay to have it made, then it's kind of property.
I mean, but then you do the same thing with IVF, right? But I guess.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I haven't thought about this.
Right. You are quite right. Yeah. Yeah. What is the difference?
Right. But then in theory, I mean, as far as I'm aware, we're all owned anyway. What
your understanding is of the word cabbage and why you think it might be used with regard to Cabbage Patch Kids and repopulation and so on.
I think it's funny because you could totally see them as just being something cute and quirky and fun. And I think that that's what a lot of people thought of them. But to have your eyes open to the way that this world or this plane of existence works, what is it that they're trying to tell us? What is it that this means? And so there's different categories of the Cabbage Baby postcards. So there's ones with cabbages where there's babies being plucked out of cabbages. And usually there's a man with striped socks and a lady in red. And part of that symbolism.
I do wonder that, when people say they've been cloned, does the clone know it's a clone? It's a clone. So where are you with the whole cloning?
Personally, because I haven't seen a photograph of a cloning facility and I haven't seen any paperwork that says anything that would make me think that there's cloning, I'm skeptical about it. The cabbage postcards, and then you have the lady in red plucking babies out of water, babies in boats, babies on lily pads, babies in wells, babies being picked out of trees, being carried around in buckets. So there's a lot of that sort of symbolism. And then there's babies on trains being transported, or babies being flown by stork. And the stork is a symbolizing the postal service. You've got babies populating empty cities. So they're just all over the place doing baby things. And there's no adults. There's no one else there. And then you have ones where there's babies on a farm. So they're like riding on cows and drinking milk right out of their udders and things like that. How you would feed cloned babies, like what would you feed them? And, can you just feed a brand new baby, animal milk? Is that safe? Or when did they invent formula and stuff like that? So first I wanted to look into the symbolism of the word cabbage, because why cabbage? Why aren't they in pumpkins? Or like why is it cabbages specifically? Cabbage was originally called cole or caul. Like today we have kohlrabi. It's in the same family. The word cabbage came about in like the 1500s when they did that language overhaul. So it wasn't called cabbage before that.
Is this the great vowel shift?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to look at other words that start with C-A-B-B. And the only word there is Kabbalah. Kabbalah is C-A-B-B-A-L-A. Right. Kabbalah comes from the word kibel, which means to receive or accept. Right. We're looking at a cabbage as something as like a receiving vessel.
The new church was in control of the cabbage knowledge and its power. They used this secret to grow their own army. Cabbage-born, loyal, and ready to serve. Around this time, something else was happening. A reset. The ancient world, filled with advanced civilizations, was falling apart. Floods, earthquakes, whole cities buried under mud. Some say it was due to a certain group's affiliation with black magic. Others think it was just nature taking its course. Whatever the reason, these incredible cities were destroyed and emptied out. They had to program the first set of orphans through the schooling system. And these orphans weren't just any children. They were the chosen ones, handpicked to become the elites of the new age. They were initiated into secret brotherhoods, where this knowledge of the reset and Freemasonry would be carefully guarded. These orphan brotherhoods began to clean up these cities, raise the streets, and create what we now know as downtowns. Many of these buildings were still buried, and there was a complete underground portion of the city that would be unknown to the general public. But there was still a problem. They needed to fill in these empty ghost cities with people. These first orphans were infertile and didn't even know what sex was. But within the brotherhoods, they were entrusted with one crucial secret: the knowledge of the sacred cabbage.
People thought that it represented a womb.
Cab means head, and so that's another reason why it could be called cabbage, because it looks like a head. 14 million people immigrated to the U.S. between 1900 and 1920, and then the numbers kind of add up.
So is it possible then that the Cabbage Patch Kids or Cabbage babies. That is to do with the they're called that because that is to do with the trafficking.
That's what I think. So if we look back and we're looking at the first category of these postcards, we've got cabbages. So we've got to receive or accept cabbatage. So the man with the striped socks who's farming them, he's the nation A, and then the lady in red who's receiving them, she's nation B, or Lady Liberty. So it's, so that's like all the immigrants that came over.
You wrote this book last year. It came out, the Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids, and you were telling us about the fact that in your understanding, your belief, your research has come to the conclusion that there was a reset in 1776, that a lot of our history has been false.
The intention was clear. All memory of these ancient temples and exponential growth had to be erased. So then they repopulated the known lands with a new humanity, adapted towards the ignorance that these cities and that this great empire had once been forged, where their feet would later tread the lands of the ancestors and the Anakim giants.
If you look at genealogy, you have a grandmother, and then you have a great-grandmother, and a great-great-grandmother.
Yeah.
And that's going this way on, like, if you're here, you got your grandma, then your great-grandma, and your great-great-grandma. And if you go this way, they're your cousins. Well, this is your cousin once removed and twice removed. So the terms great and grand mean one generation removed from. I think that the second meaning of great is you have removed history from one generation, or removed the understanding by one generation.
That makes perfect sense. Shit, that's a mind fuck, isn't it? That really is.
So the great fires, they're like, it's like they're laughing at you. They're saying, look, we took away your history. Now you don't know.
Some of these motherfuckers out here is clones. And I'm going to say this. That's why when you talk to them, let me finish what I'm about to say. That's why when you talk to them, their eyes look empty. When you talk to them and you say something, see, you can talk to them about ish that come on TV, little ish that you can discuss little petty ass ish, little matrix ass ish. But get on some real ish and watch and see how they shut down on you. And they give you that blank stare like it's nothing there.
Everybody have been following the resets, the mud flood concept. We already know there's been times where the population on Earth has dwindled down within a few years. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's populated now with billions of people again. And what I'm telling you is, not everybody we see is a conscious being. Most of the people on Earth are non-player characters. It's only a few conscious soul beings within this whole population. This is a theory. And the rest are just seeded clones to fill in like a video game.
What they do in these cloning centers, which he alleges are in dumb bases, these military bases all across the world, the information from the person to the clone is transmitted during REM sleep. So it's uploaded.
These kids, you can't tell me this kid is not 56 on the dot. These kids, man. Look at them.
This was how they repopulated the empty cities. Couples would come to the farms and pick out their favorite baby from the Cabbage Patch. They didn't really see these babies as their own, but instead they were merely products. It became a cultural phenomenon to purchase babies, and they were sold on the streets, in carts, at shopping centers, and even at world fairs. These world fairs were repurposed ancient buildings that were used to display ancient advanced technology, and they would show off the incubator babies. These incubator babies were cabbage babies that had still not fully developed, and this tech was used to speed up the birthing process. So after the repopulation phase, the church kicked off a massive propaganda campaign to teach us a new, fake history. But the cabbage babies never stopped being produced. It only went underground. This is still done in secret, in underground factories, for reasons that cannot be fully explained.
So yeah, but his research stems from Hollywood and the cloning of celebrities, which we're hearing about a lot more now. And there are quite a few famous clips out there of people like Hillary Clinton, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry actually appearing to malfunction live, as if something's happened, like a kind of a flaw or a bug in a program. I've got two theories on that. One is that it is because it's a clone, and Donald Marshall suggests that they are adolescent and they have a handler. Now there is, and you can find this still on YouTube, there is footage of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith after they filmed the last Bad Boys movie, there was a press conference and they're walking together and Martin Lawrence isn't talking. The odd word that does come out of his mouth, Will Smith's taking over and answering questions for him. It's almost like he's sort of comatose or got severe jet lag. And you might think that that's a one-off. Apparently that's a glitch. That is a flaw because they are adolescent. They're made quite quickly.
We used the cloning machine at my dad's work to make prom dates.
Really? Wait!
Ah! Unclone! Control Z! In every cloning movie, they come out fully grown.
This isn't a movie, Steve. This is real life. We don't have time for this. We'll find someplace else.
Wait. I'll take him.
And that was the selling point, the USP with the incubator babies in the World's Fairs that were launched by Dr. Martin Cooney, that they could grow a 9-month baby within just a few days. And people will be able to find that online if they look.
What about those girls' parents?
Actually, those are your girls.
What?
How is this possible? They must be 5 years old by now.
Do you realize what this means? At the accelerated rate they're growing, they're going to be the right age for prom by Saturday.
Now, I kind of thought that was just a catchy gimmick to promote incubators. But Donald's research suggests that actually, no, they speed up the whole process in these tanks. It goes from, a baby, a fetus almost, to a fully formed human quite quickly in a matter of months rather than years. They have a handler. So they're told exactly what to do. They're infantile. The clone is infantile. They're told exactly what they're supposed to do.
Mr. Hart, I can't wait to show you. Please step in. Now, I just want to warn you that we had to cut a few corners.
You don't even have to explain it. Trust me, I know all that stuff will be figured out. I just want to see it.
This is some sort of human accelerated in its growth and presumably in its mind. Is it? I mean, so it's not a robot, and is it sentient, as in you and I?
No, not in the same respect. So it's 770 million people wandering around in 1776. 770 million. 100 years later, that had doubled to just under 1.4 billion in 100 years.
But I mean, that includes China?
That includes everywhere. When you look at the number of deaths within the same period of time, it's 3.3 billion people died in the same period of time. But during that same period of time, that same 100 years, we lost 3 billion through natural disease.
But wait a minute, that sounds like there's more people died than there was to begin with.
Yeah.
Somewhere the calculation is obviously not right.
No, none of it makes any sense at all. When they give us the population figures, they're not taking into account that somebody might do this research.
So, where are you from?
The CIA.
Small world. I work there. And how long have you and Steve been friends?
My whole life. 3 days.
3 days? That means you were born on the 30th. You have the same birthday as Selena Gomez. That lucky duck. She has a belly button ring. You should so get one of those.
I can't. I don't have a belly button.
Now I get it.
You thought the Crusades were about religion. They told you it was Christian knights versus Muslim warriors, but in reality, it was Rome versus ancient knowledge. During the Crusades, they didn't just sack cities, they looted them. Baghdad had one of the largest libraries on earth, and then, poof, gone. Constantinople was home to the preserved Greek, Persian, and Egyptian wisdom. What happened? It was looted. Jerusalem, a spiritual portal city that held ancient relics and forgotten tech. Guess where most of it ended up? In the hands of the secret societies or locked away in the Vatican vaults, where it's still hidden today. Then, centuries later, they miraculously rediscovered some of it and called it the Renaissance. This wasn't a religious war. This was a systematic memory wipe. Then when people think of the Inquisition, they imagine witches casting curses and spells. But what's the truth? They were hunting healers, midwives, herbalists, and wisdom keepers. These were the last people carrying the pre-Christian knowledge. Knowledge passed down from Egypt, Babylon, and Atlantis, hidden in villages, forests, and bloodlines. They knew the power of plants, frequencies, and the human body. They had oral traditions, sacred songs, star maps, real science before it was outlawed. But to the church, this was dangerous, because it meant power outside of the system. So they flipped the script, called them witches, labeled them as demons, and burned them alive. This was not spiritual cleansing. This was intellectual genocide. It was never about good versus evil. It was about control versus freedom. Then we had World War I and II. They weren't just about borders and politics. They were about erasing the last traces of the old world. Before the wars, Europe, Asia, and parts of America were still filled with massive stone structures, cathedrals, star forts, domes, towers, built with a level of precision we still cannot explain. They called them Gothic or Victorian, but most people couldn't tell you who built them, when they were built, or how they were built. Then the bombs started falling, city after city. Dresden, Berlin, Warsaw, Nagasaki. These were not just strategic targets. They were full of Tartarian-style architecture, and it all got wiped out. After that, boom, the New World Order. The UN, the IMF, the WHO, the globalist banking, mass surveillance, a complete reset of identity, culture, and memory. They didn't just win the war, they rewrote the map and the timeline. This wasn't about freedom. It was the final phase of the reset. They can reset history, but they cannot stop us from remembering the truth.
The Euclid Avenue Christian Church, 2010, gutted by fire. And how did this one start? Where it has a storied history and suffered a terrible blow on Tuesday when a fierce fire, perhaps, maybe, it might have been, perhaps, ignited by a possible bolt of lightning on a sunny day. Just absolutely shreds. Just any random building. No. Does this look like a bolt of lightning to you?
We have an estimated 1,000 structures destroyed
and also no reported fatalities, and the cause of the fire is unknown. However, it is under investigation. For the Eaton fire, it is located in both the Angeles National Forest, the Altadena area of LA County, and Pasadena. We have over 2,000 acres burning at this time, and the fire continues to grow with 0% containment. We have over 100 structures destroyed, and the cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation.
This is incredible, and we know these fires are still going on today. We've shown this so many times. Attempts to destroy the old world and remove them from our view. When the church was damaged by English artillery fire, and this was probably, maybe, it might have been, but will forever be a mystery, probably when the eastern parts were destroyed. This all happening in 1560, you know, the same exact time as when they finally got the color blue and red for their duck feathers.
But when you think about what has gone on in LA over the last 3 days, and granted, keep in mind, this is just the latest fire. This doesn't mean the other fires that we've been covering were intentionally shot. We don't we don't know. Were intentionally shot. We don't we don't know. But
that's not accurate.
So anyway,
now I want to inform you all of an article published by NBC News on May 22nd, 2023, titled 60,000 pounds of an explosive chemical lost during rail shipment, officials say. Now, the article says about 60,000 pounds of a chemical used as both a fertilizer and an explosive is missing after likely disappearing during a rail trip from Wyoming to California last month. A rail car carrying ammonium nitrate left a plant operated by explosives manufacturer Dyno Nobel in Cheyenne, Wyoming on April 12th, according to an incident report filed May 10th by a representative of the company with the National Response Center. The report states the chemical was released, quote, due to an unknown cause, and was discovered missing after the rail car arrived in Saltdale, California.
Stop. The cap.
Ammonium nitrate has been a key ingredient in both terrorist attacks and fatal accidents. Now, this article discusses various instances where this chemical was used, resulting in the deaths of numerous innocent people, both in America and abroad. It cites a source from California law enforcement stating that the disappearance of this chemical, quote, does not appear to be connected to any domestic terrorism threat. Additionally, the article mentions that sources believe the chemicals may have spilled somewhere in California, indicating that even a small amount of fuel can ignite a significant problem. Currently, it appears that these chemicals have not been located. As of today, 2025, since authorities believe this situation does not pose a domestic threat, I suspect this may partially explain why wildfires in California started and spread rapidly throughout Southern California. Just last year, major insurance companies coincidentally abandoned California, resulting in millions of residents losing their home insurance coverage.
The first weird thing that I noticed is that insurance companies dropped fire coverage 3 months before the fire started, and many people have reported electrical wires from the power grid causing these fires.
Now, people, if you think that that's an electrical wire, then people don't know nothing. Everybody know what we looking at is a direct energy weapon.
please.
Okay, you want honesty?
Yes.
Which one of these am I?
Go ahead.
This one?
Feel free.
Me? Right here?
Please.
All right, check this out.
You'll
Check
know
this out.
that a reset took place, and our civilization was just running around finding things in the 18 and 1900s from the old world. It was just who could find it first. Both Genesis and the Sumerian King's List talk about a golden age, where humans lived under different conditions and lived for so much longer than we've ever seen. And I don't believe it was thousands of years ago. I believe it was so much closer to our timeline than we could have ever imagined before. Again, all of this taking place in the 18 and 1900s, and even carrying into the 2000s. So you can see how new our civilization really is. The finders are still finding things.
Let's keep this ship moving. Ship. I said ship.
Let's expose the mainstream narrative and show the world that what we've been taught is controlled.
Guess what, y'all? They want to confine to the damn surface. That's a damn shame. That people living in these cities and not knowing that they walking on top of entire civilizations.
What the hell? Yo!
These folks got us talking about there may be other civilizations out there. Are we alone? Are we alone?
Oh!
Some scholars argue that these artifacts and texts have been deliberately hidden from public view by religious authorities or government bodies.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that.
Let's back up for a second.
You keep saying they. Who is they? It's clear as can be now. Deliberately hidden from public view by religious authorities or government bodies to maintain the religious and political status quo. Status quo. Status quo. Status quo. Status quo. Status quo. Status quo.
Three major colonizing races have kept humanity and many others under their control. They use fear, lies, and manipulation to stay in power.
The reset of 1728, which brought down the empire of Great Tartaria, and with it the Anakim giants, would not be forgotten by the custodians and the Anunnaki. The reset marked the disappearance of ancient civilizations like Great Tartaria and the humanity of the Anakim. Those who survived were subjected to a system designed to suppress their spiritual potential and keep them in a constant state of insignificance. As is known, some Anakim and ancestral humans managed to escape through southern passages in what is now called Antarctica.
I'd like to go to Antarctica. It's quiet there. It's quiet there.
Establishing great colonies in lands surrounding what we know as the ice walls and the first dome.
This is where the goofy shit stops and I stop joking around too much. This is where you meet intelligence, okay?
Many lands were attacked before they could fully grow. Their people left broken, their histories rewritten, and their dreams destroyed. In these lands, the invaders took everything, leaving behind scars and emptiness. Humanity shares this story of loss. Long ago, its place in the world was stolen, and now it struggles to find its way back. The colonizers remain in control, draining humanity's spirit little by little.
That's pretty intense. No, it's not actually. So then everybody's friends and everybody's happy and don't think about that thing too much.
The fall of the great cities began with an ominous sign, a thick, suffocating black smoke that crept through the streets like a living shadow. It marked the arrival of the custodian's wrath, a calculated retaliation that would dismantle an empire built on hope and unity. This empire, the Great Tartary, had been a beacon of human and giant collaboration, a rare era where knowledge and technology were shared to create a society capable of standing against oppression. The giants had brought humanity tools and ideas beyond anything they had ever imagined. Together, they achieved remarkable progress, using their combined intellect and strength to challenge the dominance of the custodians. But even with their advancements, the Great War came faster than anyone had expected. The Tartaries' defenses, though impressive, were no match for the custodians' relentless assault. The custodians aimed straight for the heart of Tartary. Their attacks were ruthless, leaving cities in ruins and morale in tatters. A great flood followed, devastating the lands further. Hope flickered as the Anakim, a faction of giants who had allied with humanity, fought valiantly using their advanced technology, and the fall of the four great centers sealed their fate. The war left unimaginable destruction in its wake. Cities once bustling with life were reduced to ruins, engulfed in flames, or buried in darkness. The custodians, desperate to regain control, unleashed weapons beyond comprehension. There were whispers of technology that could petrify living beings, a cruel echo of atrocities committed in the distant past.
Okay, so all the giants that you see that are petrified were turned to stone because they were destroying the sanctuary that Lilith had created for her people. And the Tartarus was a prison for the giants and the wicked ones. And so basically they started, they uprose and started going throughout the land and cutting down all the trees and stuff like that in hell. And Tartarus used to be a beautiful place. And so what they did was they went out the land, started cutting down the trees and stuff like that. And so when Lilith caught word of it, she came throughout all the land and started petrifying all the giants. And she started turning them into stone because, she got that primordial magic. You know what I'm saying? Where she can just turn you into stone. And so she started doing that to all the giants and all the creatures of the land that was not connected to her bloodline. So that's why you see a lot of the times when you see the giants, people were walking or holding each other. It's because when Lilith came, she didn't play no games. She was just taking you out. She didn't ask no questions. If you wasn't from the bloodline, she was taking you out. So Lilith still reigns in this kingdom, and she's going to take it back.
Those who survived described a nightmare. Homes vanished, loved ones lost, and a flood of mud and water that swept away everything in its path. This flood, now known as the Mud Flood, was no ordinary disaster. It was a deliberate act, a calculated move to reset the world. The custodians had initiated it prematurely, cutting short the development cycle they had imposed on humanity. Normally, resets occurred when a civilization reached a predefined limit of years, a cruel experiment in controlled growth. But the war's intensity forced their hand. Survivors of the reset emerged into a new world, one where remnants of the past were buried beneath layers of manipulation. Monuments and structures from the old world still stood, resilient against time and war, but they became relics of a history rewritten. The custodians mixed truth with lies, creating a narrative so distorted that understanding the true sequence of events became nearly impossible. The reset was brutal. Adults and children over 7 months old were wiped out, their lives erased, as if they had never existed. Only infants, carefully chosen by the custodians, were spared. These young survivors were left to grow in a world engineered to stifle their spiritual and intellectual growth. The custodians controlled every aspect of this environment, ensuring that humanity never again came close to understanding its true potential or breaking free. Breaking free, breaking free, breaking free, breaking free, breaking free, breaking free, breaking free.
The thing that's strange about Cocoa Puff commercials is that Sonny the Cuckoo Bird isn't trying to get the cereal, he's actively trying to avoid it.
How do we escape the great taste of Cocoa Puffs?
What if I told you that beneath the surface of these colorful cereal advertisements is one of the most dark and complex underlying narratives I have ever seen in a piece of media? A hidden story of addiction, war, betrayal, and a massive conspiracy about the world Sonny lives in that no one has discovered before today. I promise you that after this, you will never be able to watch a Cocoa Puff commercial the same way again. This is the Cocoa Puffs conspiracy. The entire bird world seems to run on Cocoa Puffs. All the grocery stores sell our Cocoa Puffs. If you go to the opera, they're singing about Cocoa Puffs.
A story of this box right here. Cocoa Puffs.
Even the media seems to be run by Cocoa Puffs.
Extra, new chocolatey vanilla Cocoa Puffs combo cereal.
So obviously, this is a very difficult place for someone trying to beat a Cocoa Puff addiction.
When chocolatey and vanilla combine, there's no escape.
Two massive Cocoa Puffs in the sky crash into each other and begin raining down Cocoa Puffs all over the city. The people start screaming and running for their lives as the entire city is consumed by chocolate and vanilla.
Don't go cuckoo! Don't go cuckoo!
But after Sunny goes cuckoo, we cut back and see that everyone is now enjoying the cereal.
New chocolatey and vanilla Cocoa Puffs combos, part of this good breakfast.
Now in bowls everywhere.
Something has changed. This is not a world where everyone has always loved Cocoa Puffs. I think that this is a world that has been taken over.
Long before the current generations walked these lands, there was an event that changed the course of history. This took place in Hyperborea long ago, but not as distant as the official history books claim about humanity walking the known continents.
Cocoa Puffs experiment. How long does it take Sunny to go cuckoo for?
Cocoa Puffs?
Immediately, this commercial looks and feels very different than the others. Instead of a bird city, we're inside of a very advanced looking laboratory where Sunny is apparently being experimented on with Cocoa Puffs.
Begin countdown now.
So chocolatey! I'm Cocoa Puffs! Cocoa Puffs!
As expected, Sunny goes cuckoo and destroys the lab, but in the final moments of the commercial, we pull back to see who's really running the show. Humans. Humans are the ones behind this experiment.
They're gods, and then they're human beings.
This world that we thought was only inhabited by intelligent bird people also has humans in it. And now, with this context, we can finally start to put all the pieces together.
There's 5 levels of human beings. You got the Caucasians, Asians, Arabs, Mexicans, and Dravidians. 5, right?
So here is my theory. This is a world where advanced intelligent humans and bird people separately coexist as global superpowers. And I believe humans are the ones who created the Cocoa Puffs. I think we can assume this because we can see humans are running a lab that is clearly making and testing Cocoa Puffs. We can even see the chemical structure for Cocoa Puffs on the monitor. So that means that humans are responsible for giving Cocoa Puffs to bird society. And clearly their intentions are far beyond just diplomatic trade. Remember what they were testing for.
How long does it take Sunny to go cuckoo for?
Cocoa Puffs?
How long does it take Sunny to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? They are specifically testing how addictive the cereal is, meaning humans are intentionally trying to create the most addictive product they can. These commercials are telling the story of this global Cocoa Puffs war, but I think they're telling it out of order.
We don't even know when the contemporary era ended. It's a guess. It's my best guess. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be the 100-year reset. Heck, it could be a total reset every 5 minutes for all we know. Or it could be on a much longer timeline. We don't have any idea. What's the actual time that each era consists of? How frequent do these resets happen? Do they happen every 1,000 years, every 100 years, every 10,000 years, every 25,000 years? Of course, that's if a year is what we think of it as, right?
And this lab commercial is at the start of the timeline, showing us the creation of Cocoa Puffs. The humans use Sunny as a guinea pig to create an extremely addictive cereal, and they even made him the mascot on the box to help sell it to other birds.
All aboard for the Cocoa Puffs train.
In the kid's home, we can see a cage holding a bird. From the very start, Sunny has always been a prisoner to humans. And even the 70s commercials show us that it was humans who first got Sunny addicted.
I don't know if you can think of a people who were more held back, more deprived, more sabotaged.
Puff, Cocoa Puff, chocolate tasting Cocoa Puff, munchy, crunchy, chocolatey.
Let me ask you this. Why did they choose to make the mascot of their cereal a cuckoo bird? Sure, it's partially because cuckoo sounds like cuckoo, but I think there's a deeper reason. What are cuckoo birds? They're brood parasites. Instead of raising their young, they secretly lay their eggs into the nest of other bird species, and once the baby cuckoo hatches, they proceed to kill the other birds and take over the nest from within.
The cuckoo chick instinctively pushes out any other eggs in the nest.
They are literally the sleeper agents of birds. This is exactly what's happening in these commercials. Humans secretly inserted Sunny into bird society and he took it over from within, just like a cuckoo bird. And the humans didn't just randomly insert Sunny into any old nest. Take a look at the commercial where we see Sunny's grandpa's house.
I keep Shelly from going cuckoo. I'm gonna like Cocoa Puffs in this room. Perhaps?
They're in a hallway full of what I assume are family photos. And if you look closely, you can see a picture of the main military bird. The humans inserted Sunny into a family with a high-ranking military officer, which allowed Sunny to use that connection to get into the military headquarters and perform the coup. Why? Because more than anyone else, Sunny knows the truth about this world. He knows all the horrible things humans have done to bird society. I think Sunny's grandpa is working for the humans. Sunny is the mascot for Cocoa Puffs, and if humans are going to continue to use Cocoa Puffs to control bird society, then they can't have the mascot on the box actively trying to avoid and discredit the cereal.
By refusing to present certain information, and by influencing people to dismiss, to dissuade them from looking into certain information, because they're telling you that it's unimportant or unnecessary to consider, many modern institutions, like media, like so-called education institutions, are seeking to actually control human perceptions, or let's call it outright what it really is, to control the mind.
Why is Gramps Sunny's only parental figure? Where are Sunny's parents? Like, even if Sunny was a brood parasite inserted into this family, he'd still have parents before grandparents, right? It feels like someone's missing. This may seem like a pointless question to ask for how little backstory we're given about these characters, but there is actually a single insane hidden detail in one of these commercials that unlocks one final damning part to this theory. Remember those family photos that had the military guy in them? If you look closely, the hallway is full of different bird people, all with boxes of Cocoa Puffs, except for one photo that shows a female bird all by herself. And it's the only photo with no Cocoa Puffs. It's a really weird detail to include, but what's even stranger is that when Sunny is about to open the door to release the Cocoa Puffs, the photo changes to show the woman is afraid for Sunny. Sure, maybe this was just supposed to be a cartoony way to emphasize the danger, but then why is she the only photo that changes? The birds in the photo right next to her are completely indifferent to Sunny's struggle. This feels like the animators are intentionally trying to tell us something about specifically this female bird that we've never seen before. And trust me, I've checked. She doesn't show up in the background of any of the other commercials. So here is the final part of my theory. I think this is Sunny's mother. Maybe his real mother, or maybe his adopted mother from the whole brood parasite thing. Just like Sunny, she was clearly aware of the dangers of Cocoa Puffs and wanted to avoid them. But unlike everyone else, why don't we see her in any of these commercials? I think it's because she tried to protect her son from the dangers of Cocoa Puffs, and the humans who needed Sunny for their plans murdered her because of it. These Cocoa Puff commercials are not just a bunch of funny little cartoons designed to sell cereal to kids. They are a complex, interconnected story about the horrors of war, addiction, family betrayal, and murder. And if after all of this, you still have the fucking balls to leave a comment saying, "Oh, Alex, I think they're just cereal commercials, you're overthinking this," then let me ask you this. Why did they decide to make the characters in these commercials birds? Birds can't eat chocolate. Chocolate is poisonous to birds. The entire bird world is slowly being poisoned by Cocoa Puffs so that humans are the only dominant species on this planet. Or maybe they're just cereal commercials, I don't know.
Stop eating fucked up foods.
Here's something you may not want to hear first thing in the morning. Your kids could be eating too many vitamins in their cereal.
The Environmental Working Group finds that nearly half of young children eat potentially harmful amounts of fortified cereals and snack bars. None of his proposed changes address this issue of overconsumption of fortified micronutrients.
Literally more than 1,200 buildings, family. 1,200. Ain't no way in 1 or 2 years they built all those very intricate technological structures from Tartaria with Tartarian technology in 1 or 2 years. There's no way. They still can't mimic some of that technology today.
So Tartaria, the frequency, the bells. What happened though?
Well, I mean, there was a great reset.
Step 1. Cut them off from the ether. A golden age means humans are in resonance with nature, with energy, with the source itself. That has to go. Destroy the natural energy grid. Collapse the Tartarian ether tech. Bury the pyramids. Disrupt ley lines. Replace free energy with controlled scarcity. Introduce money, fuel, and artificial power grids. Step 2. Rewrite history. If people remember the truth, they'll try to reclaim it. So, erase all records of the past, burn libraries, rewrite textbooks, call the old world a mystery.
All right.
So what happened?
So, and also, just to elaborate more on certain things, Tartarian music also was a scientific breakthrough for vibration. All right.
Okay. Is that like
they introduced the bells. Tartaria was the introduction of the bells. Now, this is going to be debatable if you don't believe in reptilians and extraterrestrials, but somehow the shapeshifters would kind of get distorted out of their shape when the bell would ring. They said that the bells, that the cymatics will alter the vibration, and they would oftentimes reptilian would be in a human form but shift. They couldn't hold their shape, so they had to get rid of all the bells. Sound, when structured properly, can rearrange matter, synchronize brainwaves, and even alter human neurological perception. They also designed advanced cymatic musical instruments that had something called the Zolomov guitar. They actually interacted with the body's bioelectric field. Only heard, they actually felt the sound waves in a bioelectric field. Not only that, they could stabilize architecture with sound. I'm going to be honest. The World Wars, the Great Fire of London, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, and even Napoleon Bonaparte Russia was all planned. All right. What if I told you all of that was planned? Meticulously planned to basically eradicate other remnants of Tartaria, ancient Tartaria. They didn't want us having that. So they would basically create these false events, basically to eradicate remnants of Tartaria, basically.
So let me ask you, who do you think planned this?
I mean, we talking about the 1% shadow government. Now we talking about the dark brotherhood. We talking about
now let's unpack this a little bit. Now you said let's talk about this. Now let me no, it's cool because you get me amped and I'm trying to be cool with it. I'm over here eating some sea moss and I'm already lit. But anyway, this dark brotherhood. We talking extraterrestrials.
We talking
could they be stemmed? Okay, but this 1% from something. Like who are these dark beings, in your opinion, these dark beings, these dark forces that's coming over here, creating all this disturbances, right? Changing identity, changing the occupancy of Tartaria, creating resets. Who's up there pressing these buttons, in your opinion, and leaving these representatives here in the name of the 1% that's wreaking all this havoc on the planet?
Well, just to piggyback off what the God said, we know the truth. He basically implied that we are basically gods and goddesses. We have superpowers. We are really very powerful beings. Everything you see in regards to these superheroes are predicated on ancient abilities that our ancestors had. All right. So now, with that all being said, the beings that hijacked this realm, we talking about the cabal. And now you made mention of extraterrestrials, right? Somehow, a lot of these nefarious beings come from the Orion star constellation. All right.
They said that there was 7 resets here. They said the first one was in 1189 BC, and then it goes to the last one, which was 1728, and that was the war against the custodians and the Anunnaki, and the intervention of the giants that came and tried to help pretty much the Ancestral Republic. They came there to help the Ancestral Republic to try to escape, but they couldn't escape. So they basically pushed them back in, and now they're stuck outside the ice wall, right outside the ice wall. But they can't leave, and so that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to basically figure out how to get out this whole district, because they want to leave, because they know that this realm is going to be given back to the original rulers of this land. You know what I'm saying? Really, the rulers of the galaxy, and they don't want to be here for that.
Great reset. Tartaria was a reset. The whole Maud flood was a reset. The flood that transpired in regards to the water flood that we hear about, the Epic of Gilgamesh, are another reset. But the Great Reset, the World Wars, all the World Wars was resets. All right. I mentioned the Great Fire of London in 1906, another reset. All right. San Francisco earthquake, another reset. All of this is associated with remnants of Tartaria and ancient civilizations that they want to eradicate any proof or evidence of.
What we call aliens are simply the civilizations living beyond the ice wall of Antarctica. It's not some distant galaxy or a sci-fi fantasy. It's Earth, right here, hidden in plain sight, but beyond what we're allowed to see. These advanced civilizations have technology so beyond our understanding that when their ships soar through the skies, we mistake them for extraterrestrial crafts. But they're not from space. They're from regions on this planet we've been kept from exploring. Why the lie? The oligarchs, the ones pulling the strings, want to keep us in fear of the unknown. Aliens, outer space, it's all a smokescreen. They don't want us asking questions about what's really out there. These civilizations are light years ahead of us in tech and knowledge. That's why the narrative is controlled. They don't want you to even imagine the idea that there's more to Earth than you've been told. But trust me, it's not aliens coming for us. It's advanced beings from right here, beyond the icy borders we're forbidden to cross.
Yeah, so once you see those structures and everything, it does something to your DNA. What is a reset? A reset is when the powers that be remove all information or reset us from ascension. They reset us from ascension technologically. When we're making technological advancements, basically not needing fossil fuel, having the ability to ascertain certain things with more technological prowess, they reset us back and bring us back to the Stone Age, basically.
Damn.
Another sign of ancient Tartarian technology is something called star forts. All right, which was geometrically precise formations found worldwide. All right, there was very intricate star-shaped designs that was seen all the way from Europe, North America, and Asia. All right, typically there was military devices, but after further observation, they found out that these devices actually was energy hubs. All right, they harness actual energy, and they look like military devices, but all around they're energy hubs. They really harness energy. And guess what? The Deletes still use ancient Tartarian technology. They still get free energy. They still use
I believe that. I would definitely believe that.
Right? We know they have free energy. All right. We're a level 0 civilization due to the fact that we don't have the ability of sustaining energy off our local star. We still using fossil fuel. Other extraterrestrial civilizations actually use the star. They can actually ascertain energy right out of the ether by using intricate structures that harness energy. They put mercury in certain places on these cathedrals that harness energy and pull ionized particles right from the atmosphere and have the ability of facilitating electromagnetic energy.
Anything outside of the map would be considered like a land that's not known. Where this map comes from, a person sailed past the ice wall and they got to a land called the Ancestral Republic. In the Ancestral Republic, they gave them the map of this whole of what they knew. So this map comes from the Ancestral Republic, which is a breakaway civilization that tried to escape in 1728. They're trying to get out of this realm.
Is this a reflection to what's above us, or is this beneath on this realm?
The lowest part of the earth, the lowest part of this whole thing is Earth, our realm. Our realm's the lowest. That's why we can see all the stars. Levels. Yeah, they're on different levels than us. That's why we can see the stars in their realm, because their whole entire realm is above our realm. So when you're looking at Mars, you can see the star Mars is because Mars is up a level above us.
Right.
So we're looking at the sun in their district above us. So that's why all the stars are above us. But if you go to their district, it'll look like our sun. It's not going to be above you if you go to their district.
All the churches, all the Vatican churches, all the cathedrals are all Tatarian technology. All of those are Tatarian technology that they couldn't eradicate. This is why Tataria was more than just Eurasia and Eurasia. That shit was everywhere around the world.
You know what?
Okay, so right here, you have the center, right? This is where everything originates from. And then you got the Anunnaki lands, which is dark. Remember, because I said there's stories in the Zechariah Sitchin where they came to our land and they couldn't take the sun. They couldn't take the light on our district. But yeah, so basically, do you see how this district is dark? And also, what is another dark district? The custodians. Okay, so that was the last reset, 1728. And I want to read this to y'all real quick, just so y'all can see what happened. It says, having lost the war against the Anunnaki, the custodians returned to find their most prized human colony in a state of great technological advancement and rebellion. It says, fearing they would lose control completely, the custodians again joined the Anunnaki in a treaty to plan a new reset. And it says the reset was carried out through a great mud flood generated by the Anunnaki pyramids combined with the controlled explosions to destroy the great cores in the center of Tartarus. Right? Because they don't want us to take the rulership of the galaxy. They want to keep resetting us back and keep resetting us because they don't want us to claim dominion.
And in this age of awakening, one of the things we have to become children and childlike in order to learn the truth, because we've been lied to about every day.
Let's cut the act. Are you free? Can you live without money? Can you build whatever you want, wherever you want? Can you leave the artificial borders they drew on a map without asking permission? Can you even think freely without being bombarded by programming, censorship, and engineered fear? No, bro, you're not free. None of us are. The prison was built so well that people don't even see the bars. The freest country in the world is actually the most advanced psychological control system ever created. It's not about chains, it's about consent. If they make you believe you're free, you won't try to escape. That's why America is the perfect loosh farm. They sell you freedom while taxing every breath you take. They let you vote so you think you have power, while the real rulers remain hidden. They give you choices that all lead to the same destination, servitude. And it's not just America, it's the entire world. Some places are just more obvious about the control.
Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, nuts. Before we do this, you're gonna sit here with us and watch a movie. Forget about it!
What we call reincarnation over the years of my 30-odd years.
Here we go.
The evidence for it is actually overwhelming. You look at the amazing, massive number of stories of little children describing their previous life.
Action!
We go back to the question, okay, reincarnation, why would people keep coming back into this reality?
You come right back in the body if you don't understand what you're doing in this lifetime. You gotta prepare to die. They fuck you up because they fuck up your nervous system. They put you in survival mode. Now, when you die, you're gonna be in fear and pop, you back in another body. You have to relax your nervous system and get your mind prepared to die. But a lot of you are like, damn, why I'm gonna live my life prepared to die? Because living your life prepared to die, get you ready to live. That's a lot of people don't know. Because if you ready to die now, you gonna live life fearless. Everybody's scared to die. Don't nobody want to die. Because don't nobody know how it feels to die. But I know. I died 5 times. 5 times.
Forget about it.
The astral is also has a form of technology and also has a massively advanced version of what we would call here AI.
All right. Now you got me curious. And when I get curious, I like answers.
When they leave the body, when the body ceases to function, ceases to decode the simulation, they enter a realm which they describe as blissful, full of love. When they get you back in this astral dimension and back on the wheel of samsara, that your past life memories really start to come back, because they got you by then.
And that's our story. Pretty good, huh? But if you think that's the only story we got, forget about it!
So where the hell did you get this idea that you will die? It is learned thought. That's what. It is a fiction of the ignorant, created by the ignorant. There is no such thing as death.